X-Force number 4. The birth of the mutant CIA. I'm serious. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Long Box Diving, where we explore comics and story arcs pulled from the long box. And we are talking about X-Force number 4, written by Benjamin Percy, Josh Cassar doing the arts, and Dean White. This book has been fantastic. It is in my opinion, the best book of the Dawn of X series. It rates number 1. It is fantastic. It beats all the rest out. There is nothing else out there that reads like this book. Now, the art is very, very gritty, but good. To me, it's not the best art out there, but it's good art, and I really enjoy it. And it fits the tone of the book. And so, yeah, good. So we start out, remember last time, Wolverine and Kid Omega found Domino in the warehouse. They were to get everybody out. They figured out what they were doing with Dominoes and the skin and the DNA, and they're trying to splice themselves, and the plague mass dudes were trying to make themselves better humans, more evolved humans to take on the mutants. Professor X showed himself to be alive again. They were able to bring him back. That was kind of quick, but okay. And they talked about, hey, we need to go ahead and have a mutant CIA. And so they had the Quiet Council under a waterfall, and they kind of came up with this plan to have a mutant CIA. So while this is happening, we start this comic. And we are in the Eastern Seaboard, and they have this Cohen Outpost somewhere. I think it's on the Eastern Seaboard of Krakoa. It's in the Atlantic Ocean somewhere, and they have this. It's a Krakoa type plant with a dome on top, and you got these guys coming up out of the water, and they shoot the harpoons up into the base of the whatever this thing is, some platform, some just studying platform, something, and they laser through the now. I remember the first issue, I had a little bit of a problem with Halo jumping out of 60,000 feet. That didn't make sense, especially without face masks or oxygen. They probably would have been epoxic and died before they ever got to the ground. Of course, they are manufactured humans. I don't know, but that was kind of weird. Here we got something that also, artistically, to my mind, does not make sense with what I'm seeing. All right, so you have the harpoons. They come up into the bottom of the platform like this. Okay? Then you have a laser beam that comes out and cuts a circumference around the center point being the harpoon. When you cut around like this falls out. So wouldn't the harpoon have fallen out with the cut and the piece that... So they're floating on the harpoon, kind of repelling themselves up to the harpoon that's stuck into the metal. They cut a circumference to get the metal piece out. Didn't make sense to me. Still doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how that works. It would have made sense if this had been here and they cut a circle over here, like over in this. So the circle was over there and the harpoon was over here. That would have made sense. But that's not what that picture's showing. It shows they cut a circle around the center point being the harpoon. The section would have fallen out. They would have dropped them back in the water and. Okay, but yeah, because they show the cutting and they come up through the holes. Jamie Madrox is there. A lot of his clones are there, so not the Prime, and they just like kill all the clones. Right, this really doesn't do well for Jamie. Jamie has a hard time with it. One of them was able to make it back, which we discussed in a little bit. So they're in the Grove, the Silent Council. They're having a conversation, and Xavier's like, "Hey, we need a mutant CIA." And he kind of bases it off the idea of Hercules. Okay, Hercules had all the feats that he had to do. He was a normal human. He was hiding amongst the mortals, and he wanted to become more of a god. So Zeus gave him tasks to complete to prove that he was a demigod. And so he went out to do these things, but he would have never been able to do it without his sister Athena, the goddess of wisdom. It says that she scared away the Stymphalian birds. She returned the golden apples of Hesperides. She saved Hercules from his madness and escorted him out of Hades. So basically she did a lot of stuff for him, all the mental stuff. So he's like, hey, we need a team that's muscle and brains. And so we kind of see on the next page the split of the team. We got Jean Grey, Beast, and Sage, which makes a good. I mean, the mental side of the team, the analysts, the Q, right? We got Forge, the Q of James Bond, right? This is the analyst side, and she was able to so Jamie was able to absorb one of the multiples back and take in his memories, but that's really painful for him because you imagine absorbing the memories of dying, and you have to absorb that back into yourself, and that'd be all right. But Jean Grey was able to read his mind and be able to create a 3D reconstruction in the psychic plane of what happened. And Sage is able to analyze it with her computer brain, and they're at the actual installation, and Beast is able to analyze it scientifically. So it's a cool breakup, and actually, one of the things I really like about it is they're using their mutant powers in a very, very police drama type of way, right? They're analyzing the scene. They're psychically reconstructing what happened. You see TV shows do all this kind of stuff all the time. And we have these comics actually using superpowers to do those very same things. And it makes sense, and it looks cool, and I like the idea, right? And so they go through, and they go down, and it's okay. They were here for something. They were here for some reason. They were trying to crack, it wasn't just to get what we were making here. They weren't just trying to destabilize things. It wasn't just a smash and grab operation. So there was actually all a misdirection to get to the data. So, and Sage is there, and our interface is impenetrable outside the firewall. So basically, they couldn't get any information from Krakoa outside of Krakoa. But if they come into the installation, they can actually break in and get into the network of the Mutant Network. Now, within the Mutant Network is all the money. And what they've done is they've stolen a bunch of money from Xavier. So from what we understand, Xavier is actually a multi-billionaire at the moment. He's got multiple Fortune 500 enterprise, Xavier Pharmaceuticals, Gifted Mining Technologies, Uncanny Valley Fire. I mean, it's funny, all the names, right? Uncanny Valley Farms, Summer News and Media, Evolutionary Energy, X Marks the Spot Mining, Cerebral Films, Phoenix Law Office, Salem Center Auctions and Real Estate, Blackbird Motors, Wolverine Waste Management. They made Wolverine the trash man. I would like Wolverine's Butchers or something like that. But, all right. And then his Dream Philanthropic Foundation. So he's got a lot of stuff. And he's also the creator of the X Coin, which is kind of like the Bitcoin of the Marvel Universe. Apparently it's new. Never heard of it in any other comic, but he created the digital currency called X Coin. His exact wealth is incalculable. So Xavier's like extremely rich. It does kind of help that Xavier kind of knows, has been experienced the future. He got one of them, Moria's timelines, and was able to understand what's going to happen. For the most part, things are going to happen in a certain way, and they've already happened that way before. And so he kind of knows he can invest in things. Imagine being like a Forrest Gump and be able to invest in Apple before Apple, right? That's kind of what's happening here. But he's also made some good investments, and I think he's cheated. He's cheated a little bit. But the bad guys basically got in there and stole money from him. So like, hey, we need to do something to get back at this because, hey, like Jean Grey says, I saw Charles die. Make jokes, make threats, deny it all you want, but for about 24 hours, I saw and felt the same panic and grief that I did. And then she kind of pulls up the Plague Mass guys. And she's like, since we've learned about factory-built soldiers and about the Mass Council, I call them Plague Mass, or not Plague Mass, Purge Mass Council, they're doing their best to undermine everything we built, and we don't. And don't you care? Don't you dare assume we're invulnerable. So we're not invulnerable. Yeah, they're powerful mutants. They've got a lot of powerful on here, but they've got to kind of establish a mutant CIA. And here it's more of a mutant. We're talking a little bit about politics in a sense. CIA is you're going over the spy stuff, and then go over to spy on this and spy on them. That's kind of a political thing. But it's done very well, and it's done, down the middle. So if you're talking CIA, there's no moral compass except nationalism. Yeah, true. When you talk about spying, you're not doing it for right or wrong. You're doing it to protect your nation, right? Bring on the blood and the blackmail. Now, Xavier says, please don't think that's a fair comparison. It's much more complicated. And he goes, you can argue semantics. The humans are after us, and we need to fight back, and it's that plain and simple. And like Jean Grey says, if Athena is our CIA, then Hercules is our Delta Force. So we've gathered the intelligence. It's time to hit back, like Hercules, to be the strength. So then we actually see the strength of the team. We see Wolverine, Kid Omega, and Domino. And they went to see Forge, and that Forge is just cool looking stuff, right? If you're looking for stuffed animals or wiffle balls, you came to the wrong place, right? Okay, and then they do this whole bro whir, right? But he's like, hey, we need weapons. We need some good weapons. And he shows them what the first organic weapon that we've seen, that we know he's been under Krakoa, and he's been making these techno-organic weapons. And this is his first one, right? So he shoots it, and he's able to blow things up. Then it becomes a sword, and he's able to cut and swing and all this. And then it becomes a shoot it out and wrap it around people. And he says, a hand cannon, an earthen sword, a grappling glove, a Swiss Army mitten. The roots bond with your nerves, so the interface is neuroresponsive. Play around with it. And so it's like, hey, does it ever run out? And it's like, nope, long as you root and water it every night, you'll never run out of rounds, kid. A never-ending supply of ammunition can always... So you just plant it in the ground at night, and the things recharge for the next day. Very cool stuff. I would actually like to play with that weapon. Then we see something kind of a side note and a new plot that's kind of spinning up here. We see this vat of adamantium, and Wolverine's like, hey, I've got an idea. I want you to make something for me, and as he sees this. So that's going to be interesting. Now we see X-Force. This is Sage. They've hidden one of it's called the Point. It's one of actually their research facilities that is manned mostly by humans, people that Xavier knew ahead of time. So these people die. They're dead. There's no coming back for the humans. Okay, the mutants the brains are all scanned and stored. These guys are not. So when this Purge Mask guys attack there, these people go down. These people are dead. And so you can see the page where you see the Wolverine and Domino and Kid Omega running for the gate. You see that, the bad guys, the Plague Mask or Purge Mask guys shooting everybody, and they're running. She's got her weapon. They get to the gate, and the bad guys are messing with the gate. They jump through. Wolverine's first. Kid Omega's right after, and boom, the gate blows up. Gate turns off. Domino flies right through this empty portal, boom, into the back wall. And she looks back, and she's like, where the blank. And then we see half of Wolverine's body laying on the ground. And we see Kid Omega's head rolling. Now, I thought Wolverine, if the head was there, then he could regenerate from that. Did Wolverine kind of get depowered? I'm not sure. Because maybe it's up to Benjamin Percy. Because would this qualify as a resurrection? Because Wolverine normally would... I think Wolverine would actually come back from that. Kid Omega got to be resurrected. He's gone. But Wolverine should be able to heal from that. And if he can heal from that, then it doesn't qualify for the resurrection protocols, which means Wolverine is now under capture from the other dudes. Now, would the bottom half of Wolverine actually resurrect or regenerate too? I think it's just part with his head. I don't know. So that's going to be interesting. What's going to happen in number 5? Are there going to be 2 Wolverines? That would be interesting. They got to kill one. I don't know. So, but the book, fantastic book. It's a great story. It's got me really, really interested. The action is phenomenal. There's got little subplots, little things with the art, and it's like, it doesn't make sense to my brain, but that's okay. It made up for it. I enjoyed it. I really liked this book. So definitely recommend. If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time here in the Long Box.